So while the oven's getting up to temperature, what I've done is I've prepared the meat that I'm going to be cooking this afternoon. So what I've got there is a lovely piece of Hampshire reared free-range organic shoulder of pork. It's been boned, this piece has, and wrapped, as you can see. Probably, if I'd have chosen this piece of meat specially for the oven, I would have chosen a piece of meat with a bone in it, because it will help retain some of the moisture in the meat. But that'll be fine anyway as it is. And all I've done is I've made a simple paste out of garlic, lemon zest, crushed black peppercorns, and crushed fennel seeds. Sorry, lost it there for a second. Crushed fennel seeds, all crushed together, mashed together with some olive oil to make a nice paste. What I've done is I've rubbed that all over the pork joint, as you can see. So that's sort of marinating now, and all those delicious, yummy flavours will go into the pork. So the oven's been firing now for about an hour and 40 minutes now. This seems like quite a long time, I guess. I think that what you've got to bear in mind, this is the first time that the oven's been fired this year, so when you've got some sort of residual moisture in the structure of the oven, it does tend to take quite a little while longer to sort of really get up to that sort of furnace sort of type of burn, if you like, really high temperature. So, you know, later on in the year it won't take quite as long as this, but you probably are talking about a good hour and maybe a good hour and a half or so for it to sort of be ready. Remember, you're trying to get a lot of heat into the structure of the oven for this sort of roasting process. What you can't see, well, you can just about see in there, is that I've got the oven thermometer in there, and it looks like it's reading 50, 60 degrees centigrade. Actually, that's gone all the way around once. So probably we're up to 450 degrees centigrade, something like that. I mean, that thermometer isn't the most accurate thing in the world, but it's gone well past the 300 degrees mark all the way around again. So it's probably about to explode. So that's roaringly hot in there now. This is as close as I can get to it without burning my hands, and what I normally do, the front of my hair off, so be careful about that. It's just worth also looking at this point before we do anything else with it, just to have a look at the effects of firing the oven on the outside of the oven. You can see that the great big cracks are starting to appear on the outside, all the way around the entrance there, around the back, and these cracks, they will happen every time you fire the oven up. Remember, this is a structure that will expand as you heat the thing up, so you'll expect these cracks to form. When it cools down again, a lot of the cracks will close up. At certain times in the year, I've done this periodically now, you can get some more sand clay mixture and fill in the major cracks, just so that it doesn't go become sort of too so it hasn't gone so far that the whole thing starts to fall apart. But hopefully you get an idea that actually it's nothing to be terrified of if you see these cracks appearing. This has been happening to mine now ever since I first built the thing, and this one is getting on. Clearly this temperature is miles too hot to start cooking anything in it. It will just be absolutely cremated if I put that piece of meat in there. So what I'm going to do now is leave that wood that's in there now to burn down to just the embers, and then we'll wait for the oven temperature to drop to about 230 or so, so it's like a really hot indoor oven. It's about the same temperature that your traditional indoor oven will get to, and that'll be the right temperature to put the pork joint in, and then we're going to give it this half an hour sizzle at this really high temperature, and then over that time the temperature will start to gradually drop. I'm going to leave the door open at the front, I'm going to leave the chimney unblocked for the time being while that's happening. What I've done now is I've spread the embers across the base of the oven. The temperature's still, it's about 300, you can see that, I can't get the camera any closer, it's about 300 still, so it's still too hot to put anything, but it's cooling down now nicely, getting down to the temperature that we can actually do something with it. Finally, 2 hours and 33 minutes after lighting the oven, the temperature's now down to just over 200, about 220, so it's time finally to put the meat in. Let's just get that out of the temperature gauge out there. So let's get the pork, which I've now rubbed with salt, and put it in a little roasting tin, and just pop it in the oven like so, somewhere in the middle. There you go. And there you go. We'll pop the temperature gauge back in so we can see what's happening. I want that to stay hot for about half an hour or so at that temperature. So what I think I'll do is we'll keep an eye on if it looks like it's dropping too much. I'll put the. In fact, what I'm going to do, I think, because I think the temperature is dropping, is let's put this. This is just a little bung that I made for the top of my chimney. Foil and paper does the job. So that's going to keep quite a lot of the heat in. Clearly this heat's still going to come out of the front of the oven, but I've got a door, temporary door at least, that I'm going to put on in a little while. So let's keep an eye on the temperature for now, and then we'll see how we go. So the pork's been in for 25-ish minutes now. You can see I've put the door, the door-ish structure at the front of my oven because I thought the temperature was dropping a little bit too rapidly. Yes, you're allowed to laugh at my door. It's actually made out of one of those sort of surfy skin board type things that I cut to fit the shape. Hey ho, it sort of does the job. I've covered it in foil. Hey, so let's have a look at what's going on. I haven't checked yet. So I can see that the temperature's actually down to just under 200 degrees centigrade now, which is fine. Let's have a look at what we've got. That looks just spot on. What I just want to do, you can see that the skin now is starting to blister up nicely, which is exactly what I wanted it to be doing at this point. So that's the half-hour sizzle now, you can see. So what I want to do now, with my other hand, is to squeeze the juice of a lemon over it. Worry about the pips, I don't care. Whole lemon. Okay, should be nice. And pour some of this lovely homemade Northney Numbnut cider into the tin around it. That'll keep it nice and moist. A little bit over the end there. I don't want to get too much on the skin, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not that bothered, to be honest, about this being a crispy skin. So there you go, that's lovely and in there. What I'm going to do is cover the tin now with foils and then just pop it back in for a long time. So it's 2.5 hours later now since the meat was put in the oven, so that's including the half an hour sizzle, and I'm going to have a look at it now, and hopefully it should be just about ready to take out. Normally I would leave this a bit longer, maybe even an hour longer, but we're absolutely starving, so we're going to have a look at what we've got. So let's take the door off. What's the temperature in there is now steamed up. Try and clean that. The temperature is it's just over 100 degrees centigrade in there, so it's quite low now, but there's still quite a lot of heat in there. It's the neighbour's dog talking to me. Let's have a look at what we've got. There we go, so the all looks very delicious to me. I think what I'm going to do is just pop it in the oven in the house at a high temperature just to crisp up the crackling. But I think that looks good to me. We'll cut into it and see what it's like once we're inside the house. So I've just sliced into the pork joint now, and it's cooked really well. It's really moist, really juicy, absolutely delicious. So there you have it, a joint roasted pork cooked in a traditional clay oven. And there you have it. I just thought I'd leave you with this a picture of the delicious roast pork, really moist as you can see, lovely crunchy crackling, and it's absolutely delicious. So give it a go. Speak to you soon. Bye.